Thank you. Now, those who are able to unmute themselves, or those who have access to the microphone, will kindly say the pledge of the United of Biafra. When you're ready, we can say it together. Thank you. Ready? Okay, let's go. I pledge loyalty to the United States of Biafra, land of the rising sun, her history, values, and laws, to defend our lives, lest we perish, to uphold peace, unity, progress, and equity. One people under God. It begin by saying, recording in progress. It begin by saying, recording in progress exists. Recording in progress. BIAFRA exists. When I analyze, it's important that we begin by saying, recording in progress. Begin by saying, progress exists. Recording in progress. And some of the excuses which the West uses to the autonomy, the
Okay, Finland.
which the West doesn't hire for long today. The authorities in the
Going on.
Can you stop the video, please? Kindly stop the video. Stop playing for now, please. Stop playing the video, please. Can you stop the video? For the right, please.
Please just bear with them, okay? They are trying to stabilize things, Just started now, okay? Do bear with them. Yeah, it has stopped now. Okay. Few minutes, let me connect up.
Recording in progress.
Let me begin by saying,
Recording in progress.
let me begin by saying, BIAFRA exists. BIAFRA exists. When I analyze, it's important to recognize the obvious. It's willful blindness to embrace some of the excuses which the West uses to avoid discussing the autonomy, the freedom, the liberty, and the independence of Biafra. It is not climate change, but deliberate murder. Climate change doesn't hire Fulani gangs to rape and murder in Biafra. The authorities in Abuja do. And we need to recognize that reality. Too often, the State Department, the European Union, the African Union defer to the powerful against the weak. But that's not how human rights work. When it comes to the abuses of the Nigerian government, they must be held to account. When Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Muhammadu Buhari, the former president of Nigeria and a war criminal from the days of the first Biafra genocide, he took Nigeria off the State Department's religious freedom watch list. The United States and all other countries must calibrate our policies towards the reality of the way things are, rather than the way we wish things would be. The fact of the matter is, on any watch list for religious freedom, Nigeria should be on its blacklist. It should be its worst tier, because reality cannot be ignored, nor should human rights of all those in Biafra be swept under the bus. Frankly, if Nigeria spent as much energy hunting the perpetrators of violence against the Igbo as they do pressuring Finland to punish the free speech of Biafra's leaders, Nigeria would be a much better place. Unfortunately, rather than reform, rather than embrace liberty, rather than embrace self-determination, Nigeria seems to embrace transnational repression. And that is why all Biafra activists in Finland should be free. Now, a lot of people will look at Biafra and say, you know, we've never heard of Biafra. That reflects their ignorance and their ignorance of history, rather than the necessary reality. But then you will have some naysayers who will say, why are you declaring independence, redeclaring independence in Finland, rather than in Biafra itself? And again, that reflects an ignorance of history for those who might criticize. After all, Czechoslovakia declared its independence in Washington, D.C., right near where I sit now. And no one suggested that the Czechs and the Slovaks didn't deserve their freedom. The fact of the matter is, when one faces a lethal threat and lethal repression, you need to assert your freedom wherever you may be. But that doesn't forfeit your right to your homeland. So, when it comes to the BIAFRA, what I see is everything being done right. I have gone, let me put it this way. Again, I say this as an academic. I've been to many places around the world in which people desire their freedom. I've been to Iraqi Kurdistan, Turkish Kurdistan, and Syrian Kurdistan. And I've written a book where, while I empathize with the Kurds, they are not yet ready for independence because they have not taken the basic steps to form a unitary government that can step into the vacuum on day one and lead their people. That is something that the Biafrans have, a mistake the Biafrans have not made. What I see today with the organization of the Biafrans has been absolutely and completely admirable. You are not simply symbolically declaring independence. You are setting in motion a government which can take over all functions of the government. Now, some people may complain that Biafra now has its own army, and they may say that is a terrorist action. They are wrong. It is the job of any government to monopolize the use of force within its territory. The Nigerian army is the occupying army right now. Its job is not to monopolize the use of force within Biafra, because they have shown when they use force, they use it not for security, but to perpetrate insecurity. They use it to rape. They use it to charter buses, to bring in militias, so that naive people may believe that they have nothing to do with what is going on in the region. Now, I'm a historian by training, which means I get paid to predict the past. Also, speak pay. Let me be clear. I am receiving nothing for my advocacy for Biafra. I have been offered nothing. I have demanded nothing, and I am receiving nothing. Nor would it even be legal for me to accept money from anyone. I am speaking only as an analyst and only as someone who wants to further liberty. Now, I ask as a historian, where has it worked to force the victims of genocide together with their perpetrators? Where in history has that ever worked? Aggressors must understand that if they turn to genocide, they will always lose. The fact of the matter is, Nigeria lost Biafra in 1967. They may have won the war temporarily, but they permanently lost Biafra. The decisions they made 57 years ago forfeited any rights they have to control, to occupy, to speak on behalf of the people of Biafra. Let me conclude by saying, as an analyst again, I don't think the United States will be the first country to recognize Biafra. But I pray that it won't be the third country either. Biafra to move from Finland and to lobby vociferously, night and day, in order to ensure that the African Union recognizes that Biafra is already more organized, already more capable of statehood, already will have a higher standard of living, already will be at peace with itself and its neighbors more than many other African countries. And therefore, it will be a boon to Africa, a boon boon to the African Union, a boon to the spread of democracy in the region, an anchor for stability in the region, in an area that is increasingly unstable, especially as people come from the north in order to destabilize. So let me conclude by saying with my very short remarks that I wish I could be with you there today. Family prevented me from coming, but I admire what you're doing, I follow what you're doing, and I pray for what you're doing. Long live BIAFRA.
Thank you so much for that. Now, Fam Diane, are you there, please? Okay, I will send you the microphone, Fam Diane. If you could kindly help us in introducing our Deputy Prime Minister.
Unmute. Okay, unmute me. Thank you.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you. I got it. What a moment in time for this United States of Biafra State of the Nation address. Greetings to United States of Biafra, global friends and supporters. My name is Pharmacist Diana Eme. I am the Secretary of Finance, Economic Development and Trade. Today is August 29, 2025. A special date to remember and celebrate the redeclaration of the independence of the United States of Biafra. I welcome each and everyone here. I welcome the United States of Biafra government cabinet members. I welcome all press members. I welcome our special guests. I welcome all Biafran citizens. I welcome the United States of Biafra Armed Forces. I am honored and happy to welcome Her Excellency, the Deputy Prime Minister and Chief of Staff of the United States of Biafra, Dr. Ngozi Arabeze, who redeclared and ushered in the redeclaration of the independence of the United States of Biafra, our nascent nation to the world on November 9. I'm really qualified, has the ability to God and all it takes to lead the United States of Biafra at this moment as the surrogate of our Prime Minister. And she is keeping the mandate. I am very happy and proud to welcome our Deputy Prime Minister and Chief of Staff, Her Excellency, Dr. Ngozi Arabeze. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Famdi. Thank you so much for that warm welcome and introduction. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Biafrans and friends of Biafrans. I appreciate that speech from Michael Rubin. Thank you so much for that, for being part of what we do by the second, by the minute, privately and publicly. Thank you so much. Thank you, Honorable Christopher, Honorable Uche, those that are on the background to ensure that today's speech and today's event is very successful. Thank you so much for what you do. I want to use this opportunity to welcome everyone to the State of the Nation address today, August the 29th, 2025. First, I'm not going to fail in recognizing our leader, Onyedu Nnamdi Kanu. We thank you for your perseverance. We thank you for what you do. We thank you for the steps you've taken to ensure that our people do not cohabit with reintegrated terrorists. Into Nigeria and into Biafra land. We thank you. We also want to use this opportunity to remember our Prime Minister, His Excellency Simon Ekpa. We thank you for your resilience. We thank you for what you do. We thank you for your actions to ensure that we Biafrans, who are mostly Christians, are not murdered in our thousands every single day. As many of you are aware, Nigeria has been declared the most dangerous country in the world for Christians to live. Biafrans are Christians. We thank you, His Excellency, Prime Minister Simon Ekpa. I want to use this opportunity to thank the Biafran, United States of Biafran government cabinet members who are working behind the scene every day, publicly and privately, to ensure that we build one of the best, one of the fairest, one of the exemplary nations in Africa and in the world. Thank you so much, the United States of Biafran government cabinet members, for what you do every day. I also want to use this opportunity to thank the United States of Biafra Liberation Army, the United States of Biafra Defense Forces, the United States of Biafra Navy, Air Force, and the police. We thank you for what you do. We thank you for defending our land from the reintegrated terrorists brought in by the Nigerian state, wearing military and police uniform with AK-47, killing our people, kidnapping our people, locking them up in different DSS dungeons, in cells across Nigeria and across Biafra land. Killing them, harvesting their organs, raping our women, burning our homes, destroying our farms, economically strangulating Biafrans. We thank you for standing up at this time. With the declaration of the United States of Biafra on November 29, 2024 in Lati, Finland, after over 50 million Biafrans have voted to exit Nigeria through a self-referendum, and after over 1,000 Biafrans converged in Lati, Finland from across the world to vote and declare our independence, we thank our United States of Biafra military for continuing to defend our land today. Thank you so much for what you do. I thank all the heads of missions across the world that are propagating Biafra, propagating our mission, propagating what we do as a big people. I thank you so much. I thank all the 40 state governors in Biafra land with your commissioners that are working day and night. Ensure that your states are fully protected from the reintegrated terrorists, the reintegrated Fulani terrorists sent in by the Nigerian state in Biafra land. Thank you so much for what you do every day. I thank all the stakeholders. I thank all our allies. Thank all our lobbyists, all the people that are helping us to build one of the best nations in the world, which is already in motion. I thank you all for what you do. Fellow Biafrans, patriots, and friends of freedom, happy 9-month independence anniversary today. Today marks our 9th-month independence. I speak to you today on behalf of our government, our leader, our Prime Minister, and our proud people, the proud people of Biafra, the proud people of the United States of Biafra. This is a moment that demands truth, courage, and unity. In recent months, the United States of Biafra has endured some of the most aggressive assaults on our dignity and our very right to exist. Yet, at the same time, we have secured some of the most remarkable victories in defending our sovereignty. Our enemies exposed. The Nigerian regime has been exposed before the world, not through our words or what we do, but through the verdict of well-constituted courts in different countries across the world. A Canadian court has ruled that Nigeria's ruling class and their political parties meet the definition of terrorists, as they were deeply implicated in acts of political violence, subversion of democracy, and electoral bloodshed, inflicting harm and terror on Nigerians and Biafrans. A Kenyan court has condemned Nigeria's criminal abduction of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who was renditioned from Kenya to Nigeria. Right in our homeland, the High Court in Enugu has affirmed our lawful right to independence. There was also the discharge and acquittal of 4 innocent Biafrans by the Finnish authorities, despite Finland's fishing expedition on behalf of the Nigerian government. Our 4 Biafran citizens were eventually set free after being illegally detained by the Finnish authorities. The very same so-called evidence used to justify their arrest was later dismissed as baseless, and the case was dropped. Yet, these Biafrans were unjustly held for a month under conditions tantamount to solitary confinement by the Finland government. These are not opinions. They prove that Nigeria's leadership functions as a terror entity, trampling on human rights, violating international law, and facilitating transnational repression. Just like Michael Rubin, who talked on the video before I started. We all listened to him. He talked about the criminality, the genocide, the aggression of the Nigerian state to Biafran people. On the basis of the Canadian court verdict, we now declare that all political parties and individuals representing Nigeria within Biafra territory are proscribed as terrorist organizations. These include the APC, PDP, ABGA, Labour Party, AAC, NPP, and any other parties or groups that act under Nigeria authority. They are all united in one mission: to kill Biafrans, to suppress our freedom, and to protect the interests of the Nigerian terror regime. From this day forward, they are recognized as agents of terror in our land. And the Biafra people must treat them as such, because no election organized by any terrorist entity will ever be permitted in our land. I repeat, no election organized by any terrorist entity, which includes all the current Nigerian political parties that have been labeled, that have been branded as terrorists, will ever be permitted in Biafra land. Finland's complicity and the unjust detention of our Prime Minister. Our work in exposing the enemies of Biafra has also led birth Finland's own complicity against our nation by siding with Nigeria in the persecution of our Prime Minister, His Excellency Simon Ekpa. Finland has placed itself on the wrong side of history. We remain confident that when September comes, which is next week, the truth will prevail and His Excellency Simon Ekpa will walk free. Because it is clear to the world that it is not Biafra leaders who should be standing trial, but the Nigerian authorities themselves for war crimes and for terrorism. The current Finnish government has failed systematically, leading to the unjust detention of our Prime Minister, His Excellency Simon Ekpa. That have no basis in law, just like they did to innocent Biafrans living in Finland. His Excellency Simon Ekpa submitted over 200 pages documenting the plight of Biafrans to the office of former Finnish President Tarja Halonen. The current Finland President, Alexander Stubb, about the subjugation of Biafrans in the hand of the current Nigerian government. Yet, today, our Prime Minister languishes in unjust incarceration by the Finnish government headed by Alexander Stubb. On August 24, 2025, the Finland Minister of Interior, Mari Rantanen, wrote on Twitter, "As long as the country is up to its ears in debt and services for its own citizens are lagging, we cannot virtue signal and daydream everywhere." Yet, while she speaks of debt and domestic struggles, her government, headed by Alexander Stubb, presides over the unjust detention of our Prime Minister. What greater hypocrisy over the unjust detention of our Prime Minister? What greater hypocrisy can there be than a government that claims it cannot afford the virtue signal, yet has all the resources to kidnap, suppress, and persecute the innocent. Internal enemies. Certain individuals have long been used to derail the full protection of our land. The Nigerian state has deliberately manipulated Biafrans to turn against one another. Yet, through transparency in our government, we have exposed the regime's tactics of using compromised Biafrans against their own people. But the people of Biafra are no longer deceived. We can read between the lines. We know that we have only one legitimate government, which is the United States of Biafra government that was declared in Finland on November 29, 2024, led by my humble self, Dr. Ngozi Oroboeze, who is a surrogate to the Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa. And in this final push to safeguard our sovereignty and territorial integrity, unity is our greatest weapon. Our common enemy is clear. Integrated terrorists hired by the Nigerian state, wearing Nigerian military and police uniform, giving AK-47, shipped to Biafra land to arrest, kill, maim innocent Biafrans. These are common enemies. The illegitimate and the legitimized governors of the Southeast and South collaborating with the Nigerian forces to kill our people, to give them lands, acres of lands, where they occupy, to unleash mayhem on our people. The corrupt petitions and killer squads, such as Operation Udogachi, Ebubago, Agune Chamber, so-called special forces, the Fulani militias. These are the common enemies that are not allowed in Biafra land. We will use everything legally allowed to ensure they leave our land. United States of Biafra is a sovereign nation. We don't want terrorists in our land. These enemies, they slaughter our people, rape our women, harvest their organs, destroy our homes, destroy our farmlands in a campaign of systemic genocide and economic sabotage. We must protect our land. We must protect our people. Despite these attacks, the United States of Biafra has moved forward with purpose. We've achieved a lot of legal victories for the Biafran people. We now have several decisive international rulings that confirm Nigeria's crime and affirm our right to independence. These international court rulings have declared Nigeria as a terrorist state, not the United States of Biafra. Our diplomatic reach. We now have several decisive international rulings. We have expanded international media outlets worldwide. Many of them support the United States of Biafra. Many of them support our independence. Many of them support us to protect our land from the integrated terrorists brought in by Nigerian government. Many of them are backing up what we are doing by the seconds, by the minutes, by the weeks, and by the months. I want to use this opportunity to thank them. Humanitarian relief. We have delivered food, medicine, and aid to our people in the 40 states of Biafra, despite Nigeria's attempts to starve us into submission, to brand millions of innocent Biafrans worldwide, like myself, as terrorist financiers, and to pressure financial institutions across the globe into blocking Biafrans from carrying out legitimate transactions. We've had extended support to millions of Biafrans whose breadwinners have been killed or imprisoned by the Nigerian state. Many of them are locked up in Nigerian DSS dungeons, in police custodies, in military dungeons across Nigeria and Biafra land. We must help the orphans they left behind. We must help their families, their children that are dropped out of school. We must help their wives, their husbands, whose breadwinners have been arrested by the Nigerian state and locked up in different cells across Nigeria and in Biafra land. That is why we do our fundraisers to help these innocent Biafrans whom the Nigerian state continue to kill and subject their breadwinners into hardship. That is why we do the fundraisers we do, to help these people so they don't die, to help our family members and to build our new nation. We will continue to do that. No one can do that for us except ourselves. Countless communities in Biafran land have been displaced by the Nigerian state. Their homes have been burned. Their families have been devastated by the regime's brutality. We must continue to help these people. We must continue to build these people. We must continue to help our loved ones, whom the Nigerian state continue to kill their breadwinners. The global awareness through the United States of Biafra satellite radio, our media campaigns, and the dedicated efforts of our lobbyists, the voice of Biafra is now being heard on every continent. Diplomatic mission. In addition to our headquarters in Washington, D.C., the United States of Biafra has registered and established diplomatic missions across the world. We continue to expand this network, and Biafrans will be regularly updated as our heads of mission work diligently in service to our nation and its people. As a newly restored nation, one of our most critical steps towards international recognition is the ceaseless pursuit of global diplomatic engagements. We provide consular services to Biafrans and offer guidance to all those interested in Biafra, ensuring that no Biafran is left without protection. At the same time, we affirm that the United States of Biafra is a reliable and trustworthy partner in diplomatic engagement worldwide. And we thank those countries that have been reaching out to the United States of Biafra government for partnership in different areas. Thank you so much. IHL trainings. Our armed forces and government officials have been actively participating in courses and trainings on international humanitarian law to ensure that discipline in our self-defense and collective defense is maintained in line with international best practices. This reaffirms our uncompromising stance that no criminal action or war crime will ever be tolerated in our land under the guise of fighting for Biafra, while in reality they are serving the terrorist regime of Nigeria in its attempt to demonize our nation. Discipline remains the cornerstone of all we do. We remain open and committed to working with human rights organizations and other institutions that provide updated courses and trainings in IHL. All the United States of Biafra military undergoes international humanitarian law trainings. This is very important to me. This is very important to our government. This is very important to the United States of Biafra government. We cannot allow recklessness to be the bane of our military. The unity of purpose. The Biafra people stand more united today than ever before. rejecting all attempts to divide us by the Nigerian state, who uses the divide and conquer tactics. We have only one legitimate government, the government of the United States of Biafra, headed by my humble self at this time, until our leaders join us. Anyone who does not stand with this government is, by choice or by compromise, standing with the Nigerian regime. We will treat that person as a Nigerian person, as a Nigerian terrorist person. The United States of Biafra currency. We are in the process of producing a new Bank of Biafra series of notes for both domestic and international use. The new currency denominated in a German pound last year by the Republic of Biafra. This passport, which will enable Biafrans to travel to countries that recognize our nation. And I want to use this opportunity to thank those countries you know yourself that have already shown interest in the recognition of the United States of Biafra. I'm ready to welcome the first batch of the United States of Biafra citizens that will visit your nation. Thank you so much. In addition, work is also on the way to provide the Biafra driver's license. Our next steps. We will continue to strengthen stability and peace within our polity, which we have achieved to a very high degree. We'll continue to deepen alliances with nations across the world and ensure that every Biafran is protected wherever they may be. Above all, we will keep mobilizing Biafrans worldwide to speak with one united voice for justice, for freedom, for equity, for fairness, for the United States of Biafra. Declaration to Nigeria and its allies. The government of the United States of Biafra hereby issues the following demands. End of occupation. Nigeria must immediately cease its illegal occupation of Biafra land and withdraw all their security apparatus from our territory. Just like Michael Rubin said, Nigeria is currently forcefully occupying a foreign land, which is the United States of Biafra. Stop the divisive tactics. Nigeria must end its instigation of Biafrans against Biafrans. Trust me, we already know these tactics. The government has uncovered this plot. Over 98% of Biafrans have uncovered this plot. Over 98% of Biafra that supports the United States of Biafra government under my leadership, has already discovered this plot. And we will not allow such divisive strategies to undermine our unity. Cease resource exploitation. All activities relating to the illegal exploration and exploitation of Biafra's natural and mineral resources must be brought to an end. It must be brought to an end. The United States of Biafra is a sovereign state with all its natural resources, all the crude oil in Biafra land. And I want to use this opportunity to thank the countries and organizations that have realized the independence of Biafra and are reaching out to continue their continued business is protected in Biafra land. Countries that support true democracy, freedom, human rights are encouraged to reach out to the United States of Biafra government to continue to get those natural resources you obtain from our land, from Biafra land. But this time you will continue to get it at the right price, at the right standard, with the right components, ensuring that our lands are not degraded. Any country that has signed any contract with Nigeria in relation to any mineral resources coming from Biafra land, we are calling on you to sever cut off that contract immediately. The United States of Biafra government will continue to control its natural resources. Recognition of sovereignty. The United States of Biafra and its people must be accorded their rightful status as a sovereign state under international law. We've met all the criteria as an independent nation with a mapped out geographical location with a certain people that came together to declare their independence in Latin Finland, with over 50 million that have voted through a self-referendum to exit Nigeria. We have met all the criteria. We have all the legal backings. We have our Constitution of the United States of Biafra. We have the declaration document fully signed by over 1,000 Biafrans that met in Latin Finland. We have our currency. We have our allies that we are building. We have met all the legal criteria as a free nation that must be respected by every country and every people. We're not begging anyone. You don't have to give us our freedom. We, the people, have our freedom in our hand. All we seek is for you to respect that freedom with all the legal documents that are giving us that backing. We also seek an end to transnational repression. Nigeria must immediately halt all acts of transnational repression as witnessed in Kenya and Finland. The world has witnessed the transnational repression conducted by the Nigerian state, of which they still continue to do in their own little way with their people, with the people that collude with them. We have those information. We ask you to stop. You cannot win to fight a free nation. We ask you to stop. Stop collusion. Nigeria and its allies must cease all forms of collaboration and collusion aimed at undermining Biafra and its people. If you are a nation colluding with Nigeria, if you are an organization colluding with Nigeria, we ask you to stop. We ask you to stop. The people have spoken. cancel exploitative contracts. All contracts concerning the illegal exploration and exploitation of Biafra's resources must be discontinued without delay. And do not go into any new contract that has to deal with the crude oil that comes from Biafra land. Do not enter into any of that contract with Nigerian state. The people must defend their land. We will defend our natural resources. We will defend our land, and we will defend our people. To the people of Biafra, remain steadfast. Hold your head high. Remember always that you are citizens of an independent nation under illegal occupation. Each day, we move closer to the systemic removal of all Nigerian forces and their agents from our land. I promise you, we are doing that by the seconds, by the minutes, because we have peacefully written to them to leave our land. We have peacefully written to the Nigerian state to leave Biafra land, to withdraw their reintegrated terrorists they gave AK-47, wearing Nigerian military and police uniform. We have written to them to peacefully leave our land. Biafra will defend our land. Biafra will defend its people. Biafra will defend their natural resources. Like I said, each day we move closer to the systemic removal of all Nigerian forces and agents from our land, and nearer to the moment when the world will recognize the Biafra flag as the banner of a sovereign and independent state, of which we were an independent nation between 1967 and 1970. We are reactivating. We have reactivated some of those policies, some of those ideals that existed at that moment. And I want to tell Biafrans, we are very, very happy. We've succeeded. We are succeeding by the minute with the support we are getting. The United States of Biafra citizens are mostly Christians. Nigeria has been declared as the most dangerous place in the world for Christians to live. That is part of the reason why we've declared our independence to exit Nigeria. We must safeguard the lives of our people. We do not want to live in a country that reintegrates and rehabilitates non-terrorists into their country. Hire them into the military, into the police, into the security. Hire them. They are part of the politicians. Most of their politicians are reintegrated terrorists. So any country at this time dealing with any Nigerian politician in any ramification, just know that you are promoting terrorism based on court orders from countries across the world. On behalf of the government of the United States of Biafra, I declare, long live the United States of Biafra. Long live our people, and may God bless our liberation. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Recording